Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a throwaway account in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "My ex divorced me and now wants to be together again after 4 years. Throwaway since I don't want to be linked back to my main account. I'm 46 and my ex-husband is 45. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we got married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21 years old. I loved both of them dearly, and we'd been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights, and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that, sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again, to seeing her outside our house. 4 years ago, I got home from work to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm very faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We got into a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she too started to blame me when she found out from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a huge depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and my daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years and I started to finally be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun and I got a promotion at work. I still missed my family, my daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I've last seen or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have one after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it, and now I'm hearing it from my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologized so many times. I told her we could meet tomorrow. Yesterday, I met her at a restaurant, but she brought along my ex, something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He was apologizing, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and left them there. I got back home to lots of phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk and she called me an asshole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I haven't responded yet and I'm not sure what to do. I love her, but I can't talk to her with him there. Not yet anyway. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. Edit, I did not expect this post to start blowing up. I appreciate the love and support. However, I didn't make it clear about my daughter's custody. Her opinion mattered in court since she was 17 during the divorce. Although the divorce was about me allegedly cheating, my ex and I agreed to keep that separate from the actual divorcing process, split what we needed to split and let our daughter choose who she wants to be with. She wanted to live with her dad and I agreed. She was strongly adamant about not seeing me, so I allowed my ex to have full custody, leaving me with visitation rights. Not only that, I needed to find an apartment. I had to move out of the house. I was living from couch to couch in my relatives' homes. I didn't have space for her, and my ex mentioned it in court. It was the main reason why she was granted to stay with her father. I was under stress, and I was not mentally well. I signed off my rights. I looked like a mess in court, too. There was also a lot more going on during that time. I found it ironic that the daughter was calling OP an asshole in this situation. Based on her and the ex-husband's reaction, I wouldn't feel any rush in making a decision. People who blindly follow false accusations without evidence are better off avoided. It would be a shame for OP to have battled through her depression and rebuild just to have these two come back into her life and disturb her peace. And who knows, maybe the daughter and ex might bring back the mother-in-law and ask OP to forgive her. User Playful Description said, "Wait, your daughter called you an asshole because you left after she brought your ex-husband with her without letting you know. She is an asshole and your ex is too. He easily believed his mother's lies after cutting contact with her and knowing what she's capable of. They are both assholes for not hearing you out, treating you like you are the worst, and now trying to be all loving family again. They caused you so much pain and probably trauma, but it seems like they don't care. User A Sarcastic Werecat said, "First of all, take all the time you need. You don't have to follow their timeline. It's perfectly alright to write back, please give me some time and space to work through everything. I'll contact you when I'm ready," and then mute them. You could also contact a therapist or a counselor to have an impartial person to talk to, or friends you know to be clear-headed. You don't have to go through this alone, and you don't have to react immediately. By the way, your daughter is stomping over your boundaries. She didn't tell you that your ex would be there, thus setting you up for an ambush. You might have chosen not to meet her had you known that your ex would be present. She withheld that information and took that choice away. You left because you were overwhelmed, and she is calling you an asshole and bombarding you with texts. Sorry, that behavior is unacceptable, regardless of her motivation. Both she and your ex seem to think that they can snap their fingers and they can just start where everyone left off, with you immediately forgetting the past and the hurt you've endured. You should be your first priority because they won't make you their first priority, so please take care and make sure that you make use of your support network. Please feel hugged, and I wish you all the best. To this, OP said, "I really appreciate seeing this. You're right. She crossed boundaries and made some petty, stupid decisions. Emotions are running high, and it may take a bit for things to calm down. I'm preparing a text to send to my daughter about going no contact unless she apologizes and handles it like an adult. I'm willing to hear her side, but not her acting like a jerk or involving anyone besides herself. I also contacted my therapist, and I'll be seeing her on Wednesday. Until then, I probably won't have an update unless something happens within the messages. I'm still really heartbroken, and I'm scared about how she is going to react to my message. I have my friends and my parents who are on my side if anything happens. They don't know where I live anyway, so I know I'm safe and I can take my time." User Hazelwood said, "You need to stop thinking of your daughter as a child but as an adult, because that is what she is. You need to be bluntly honest with her. While you can't blame 17-year-old her for how she acted, manipulating you to a meeting so she can blindside you with your ex and calling you names after you understandably left is in no way how a person meant to be apologizing and rebuilding a relationship should act. That was selfish, manipulative, and immature of her, and you should tell her that. You are in your right to never want to be in the same room as your ex, and even if you did want to be in contact with him, it's on your terms, not hers. Be blunt with her and say if she wants any attempt to rebuild this relationship, she will need to respect your expectations and requirements. Otherwise, you are going to continue to be separate from both of them. Update. Within the past 2 days, a lot of stuff came out, and I'm beat. First of all, thank you for the support and advice. There were so many, but I decided to follow the ones I thought fit best for me and my daughter. In the last post, I mentioned in the comments about an update. 2 days ago, I texted my daughter to set some boundaries after the ambush attack at the restaurant. As we were talking, she mentioned new information about my ex and why he chose his mother's side over me. Earlier that morning, his mother confessed that she had paid an ex-friend of ours to lie directly in my ex-husband's face, claiming to be my affair partner. Mind you, I never had cheated in the first place. My ex took that as solid evidence and divorced me because of it. His mother is a master manipulator and had him around her finger throughout his childhood, so I'm not surprised why he'd take her side. He didn't know that the confession was fake until a few days ago. I wasn't even aware of the entire thing for 4 years. No one had brought it up to me. My daughter gave me the silent treatment. My ex's mother obviously wouldn't tell a thing to me and probably told my ex-husband to keep quiet and to only focus on the divorce. I'm still really saddened, but everything makes sense. I was so mad at him for leaving me over her word, but it was much more than that. Besides that, I decided to give my daughter another chance. She will not know where I live or any personal information to indicate where I am. I'm keeping low contact with her. I don't want her spreading it to her father or other people. I'll only show up during important events, graduation, weddings, etc. I know my ex-husband will also attend. If that's the case, then so be it. I requested my daughter to put her father on the phone. He, of course, apologized so many times and hoped we could have another chance as well. He said he'd do anything to make it up and that he loves me. I said no. I explained that I was keeping him no contact and that I was heartbroken when he didn't communicate with me about the cheating allegations and only assumed, that I was practically homeless for a short time and needed to see a therapist to help move on, that I wanted to be left alone and currently not interested in other relationships. Then I gave him a new email in case of emergencies directly involving our daughter. Anything else I will discard. That was the only time I spoke to him in the past 2 days. I've been talking to my daughter, setting boundaries and whatnot. She gave small updates about what was going on with her side. They went no contact with my ex's mother, so that's good. I told her never to contact that woman again. She also apologized about her behavior at the restaurant and that it won't happen again. I understand that emotions were running high and everyone was tense. I forgave her. I still really love her. Mistakes can happen. Now, a lot of you said to sue my ex's mother. I spoke to my therapist about it earlier today. She said it wasn't wise to do so. It'll put more emotional distress on me and that I might have to see her again and may relapse into a depressive state. I really don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that woman again. All I want to do is focus on myself and on my daughter. I want to rebuild our relationship, and it will be ruined if I do something drastic as in suing my ex's mother. I won't be pressing charges unless something else happens to the point where police are involved. That would be different. Other than that, I'm taking a break. My daughter can text me anytime she wants, but I did say that I may not always reply since I want to remain low contact as of now. Thank you so much for the support and love. I can't express how grateful I am. I'm sorry I haven't replied to any of the comments. There was so much and it was very overwhelming. This may be my last ever post on this account unless something happens in the near future. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Update 2. I honestly don't even know if this is still relevant. I was originally about to delete my account, but kept it for a final update. After this, I will be gone. For the update, it's been a roller coaster. My daughter had posted her side of the events, which I did not realize how crappy the post really was until you guys pointed it out. We decided to speak about that more in family therapy, and she apologized for it. She logged out of the account and isn't using it anymore. I'm paying for our family therapy and individual therapy. I said that as long as she goes to school full time, I will be financially supporting it. I think we have grown a lot in therapy. It's only been a few months, and we're able to express our feelings without the other judging. About my ex-mother-in-law, a month prior, she got arrested for drug possession. I literally have no clue what happened on her end, but my daughter messaged me about it. From what I could gather, she got caught with drugs in her home, and she is still behind bars. No one bailed her out. I chuckled when I found out. It was a pleasant surprise. About my ex-husband, I know he has been spiraling, and I think after his mother got arrested, he snapped. He started getting drunk and verbally aggressive toward my daughter. It's been happening for roughly 2 months, so I requested that my daughter would live with me since I do not feel comfortable with his behavior. I was right since his verbal aggression turned into physical abuse. He hit my daughter. While he went to work, I came back to the house. It was emotional. Not many things were changed except no family photos, and the furniture was rearranged. I helped my daughter pack all of her things along with important documents, and we fled. I turned my office area into her bedroom, and she's been staying with me for a week now. I've been driving her to school, and now this week is her last before she's out for summer break. It was awkward at first. I wanted to keep low contact with her, but I couldn't let her be abused and have the police do very little about it. We made a report, but I don't think much will be done about it. My daughter and I have been doing little things at my home, watching television together, driving her to school, and preparing meals for her. We're going slow, but we're bonding and our relationship is growing. She's a lot quieter nowadays. She used to be so outgoing, but I know this is taking a toll on her. I'm glad she's willing to be in therapy. I suspect she has depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Safe to say, it's a happy ending. Thank you so much for this journey. I desperately needed the support which has been received. Also, please don't send death threats to my daughter. I already saw many comments speaking poorly about her, but it came to the point where some are sending death threats. It's so awful and ridiculous. That's not supportive towards my end, and it's gross behavior towards my daughter and in general. Shame on you. Other than that, I appreciate the advice. I'll be deleting my account in a few days or so. Thank you and goodbye. User Flying Play-Doh said, I remember when you posted originally, I was upset and angry on your behalf. I, like probably many of us, was wishing and hoping for things for you. I think I felt all the feels with your journey. I hope for the best for you and those you choose to have in your life. I do wish you'd keep this account open, not deleted, just so you can at some point post an update. I think I'll remember yours for quite some time. To this OP said, I can definitely keep the account open and not delete it if people want that. I can't guarantee that I'll be posting much on here. The previous posts I have made already take a toll on me. If something does happen, I'll make a completely separate post about it. I would rather not do an update 3 since it'll feel so lengthy and long. Thank you though, I am glad you've been here since the beginning. User Jesus Suarez Studios said, I didn't read your post at the time, but now that I have, including this update, I can't help but feel sorry for your situation. But it's good to know that little by little, your relationship with your daughter is being rebuilt. As for your ex-husband, screw him. He, in addition to ending his marriage, ruined his relationship with your daughter, behaving like an abuser just like your ex-mother-in-law. They are a match made in heaven. He is not capable of assuming the consequences of his actions, which led him to behave that way with your daughter in order to have more control over her. If there is one thing I know is that karma exists, and sooner or later it will come to him, and he will pay for what he has done, just as it did with his mother. It is good to know that you got your daughter out of that toxic environment. What she needs right now is your support and love so she can move on and leave behind all the bad things she experienced so she doesn't become just like her asshole father. I send my best wishes to you and your daughter so that you can overcome this bitter stage of your lives. This next post was made in the AITAH subreddit by a user named Feeling Possible. The post is titled AITA for losing it on my husband and MMIL after she hit our son. I'm 30 and my husband is 29. We have a 3-year-old son. He is from South America. I'll call him Juan. He came to my country as an immigrant and can now stay permanently if he wants to. I've only met my Mill in person on the day of our wedding and she seemed like a nice old Latin lady. I'll call her Maria. She recently came to the country for a few weeks. Juan invited her so she could meet our son and see the wonders of our country, like gray skies and old buildings and old people. She absolutely loved our son and was so happy to see him and play with him. Everything went well, but one day I left him with her for a moment while Juan and I went shopping for dinner. We were out for less than half an hour, and when we came back, our son was crying and came running to me as soon as he saw me come through the door. I asked Maria what had happened, and she said he was misbehaving, so I hit him with a spoon and he started to cry. I couldn't believe what she had said, so I asked her to repeat it, and she did, saying it as if she was proud of it. I asked her why she was so proud of hitting my son. She said she only hit him once as if that was better. This started an argument. She said that children need to be hit once in a while or they'll become delinquents. She said that all her children were regularly hit with spoons or sandals and they all turned out fine. I couldn't stand it, so I told her to get out. She could stay in a hotel that wouldn't let her near my son again. She was so angry and started insulting me in Spanish, which I only half understood. It took me 3 hours to get her out of the house. Then I continued to argue with Juan because he said nothing the whole time. He said he didn't like it, but it was true that they turned out well. I said corporal punishment is never okay, but that made him angry. He said, I challenge you to find a single mama Latina who has never hit her children, not even once. But that's the way we were brought up because otherwise we would have become weak men. And then he went on to say that I was suggesting that an entire culture of millions of people had been brought up wrong and that was racist. That is the short version because we ended up arguing most of the night. I didn't let Maria see our son until I went back to her country and Juan went to sleep with a friend. All my friends put it down to culture shock and that I'm crazy to die on that hill, and Juan is still very angry with me. So am I the asshole and racist? Edit. Thanks all for your support. Thanks for clarifying it isn't a cultural thing. Yes, there are older people in my own country who still defend corporal punishment, but him insisting that this is a cultural thing and therefore shouldn't criticize it was bullocks. I try to contact him to talk, but he keeps leaving me on red while uploading stories at a pub at the same time. I'm furious honestly, but I'll see what I can do. User Professional B said, not the asshole. It's not a race issue. My Eastern European mother would do the same. Just because that's the way it always was doesn't make it any less abusive. You need to talk to your husband about how you want to parent your son. It sounds like you haven't had to resort to hitting so far, so why start now? Just because your MMIL is incapable of managing a toddler. User Harvey Snake said, he was pretty quick to call you racist because you disagreed with something. That's so BS. It comes across as very manipulative, not the asshole. User Principal Classic said, not the asshole, but I'm Latina, and sadly what your husband said is true. La chancla or la varita were part of our lives. More than punishment, it is the attitude and respect like behave or la chancla will fly your way. But many really hit hard on kids, causing anger and mental health issues. New Latin generations use the takeaway privileges instead of physical punishment. But come on, the baby is only 3. Mill lost your trust and lost a grandson in one go. Sorry this happened to your baby. I'm 55 and still remember how hard my mom used to hit me inside the bathroom, and it didn't change me one bit, only made me a rebel with her. Update. Hi everyone. It's been a while. I had forgotten about this account, but I was cleaning this computer before selling it and I was still logged in. So on my last post, my MIEL came in to visit our country. MIL and my husband Juan are from South America. We left her alone with the baby for a moment only to find out she had hit him because he was behaving like a baby. My husband defended her and called me racist because, according to him, every Latin American parent hits their kids, and it's okay, but it's not okay with me at all. So the situation kept going on for a while. This became a huge issue in our marriage, and then Juan confessed that he had also hit our son when I wasn't home. He believes that is the only way to discipline a child and that gentle parenting doesn't work. That was it for me. The problems got bigger and bigger while he kept insisting that this way of parenting is the reason why Latin Americans are more resilient than northern countries, and that people in here are too soft and sensitive. We started fighting every single day, and then I just asked for a divorce. After that, he became so verbally violent that now we communicate through lawyers only. I have plenty of evidence of him confessing to hitting our son, while he, in his testimonies, confirms it but says it's not that serious. This is stressful and I'm not doing well, so I have to sell a few things to pay for bills and debts. I'm going for full custody while he is doing the same, claiming that I'm an unfit mother for not teaching our son discipline. Well, enough of my drama, I have to go and do something else. Thanks everyone, edit. I wasn't expecting so many people to read this, but wow. Thanks everyone. To be clear, my husband wasn't beating our son in a way that could put his life in danger, but for example, wrapping a spoon in clothes so when it hits, it still hurts but leaves no marks on the skin. He described this to me as a way to make me see that it's not that serious, but it's still unacceptable. This is not an attempt to make Latin people look like abusive parents, but Juan really thinks that because growing up, he normalized it. He really thinks that everybody does it, and the people who weren't raised that way are weak. And yes, we had talked about how to raise our child, but I always thought that not hitting them ever was obvious. I'm not sure when I might update with something important. I don't even have a court date yet, so it will take a while, but I'll be reading your comments. Edit 2. Thanks for all of your support, but I can't keep reading your stories of child abuse. I'm so sorry. I'm glad the majority of you are doing better now, but I just can't keep reading them. It's actually making me feel so bad. That's the downside of having empathy. Sorry. This last post was made in the same subreddit by a user named Gold Goal. The post is titled, "I want to disown my parents after my mom refused to take care of me after I give birth." So I am 30 weeks pregnant with my first child and am about to move to another state. And my mom has this thing where she takes care of my siblings when they give birth until they recover. She has done it for my older sister and my brother's wife, so I thought that she would do the same thing with me too. But a week ago, she told me that she couldn't because it is too far away. We got into a fight about the whole thing and I told her to get out of my house, and now we are not talking. Before you judge me and say that my mom isn't obligated to take care of me, I will tell you that it isn't about mom taking care of me. It was never about that. I am that one child in the family who nobody really cares about. My parents always claim that they love and treat us all equally, but man, is it obvious that they love me a little bit less than the others. I always thought that maybe I am adopted and that's why they don't care about me that much. Well, I am wrong because I am 100% theirs. It is always about how my other siblings are doing or how mom and dad are suffering, but it is never about me. It was never about me from the beginning. I am rarely celebrated, even if it is supposed to be my day. My birthdays, they were rarely celebrated because mom and dad forgot, or they just threw everything in the house and called it a birthday. High school graduation party? Nope, my parents have already wasted a lot of money for my big brother's college graduation party, so they can't do that, but they will make sure to make it up to me. Do you think that ever happened? I will give you a minute or two. If you guessed no, then congrats, you guessed right. Yay, they shared the wedding expenses of my siblings' wedding, but since my husband came from a good family, they don't have to share wedding expenses, not my words. I've always been the therapist who listens to my mom and dad's rough day, or the one who needs to help mom because my older siblings have a lot of school work to do, or because my younger siblings are too young to do that kind of work. They always tell me that I am a good daughter, but I am never the one who they brag about to their friends. I did everything in my power to make them proud, but my achievements will always be below my siblings. I have tried to talk to them about how I feel multiple times before, but the only thing I get is a hard scolding about how I was getting spoiled. I hated my life until I got out of that house, but I never had the courage to let go of them, thinking that they would change. Well, my mom just proved me wrong. Mind you that my older sister lives a whole ass ocean away from us, but mom decided that taking a 10-hour flight to another continent twice was not hard at all. But all of a sudden, taking a 4-hour ride to my home was too much, especially when I am in a place where I don't know anyone except my husband. I am so tired of them putting everyone else above me. So I will make things right between us until I leave because I don't want to end things on a bad note. And when I get to my new house, I will just cut all contact between us. I don't think that I have the energy to do all of this crap anymore. And besides, I have my lovely husband with me, so I will be alright and build myself a new family where I am truly appreciated and loved for who I am. User Sea Turtle said, "Not the asshole. I wouldn't bother to make things right with her. Just leave the ball in her court. You didn't do anything wrong, so you aren't the one who needs to make things right. If you have a good relationship with your mother-in-law, ask her to come help out when the baby is born. Congratulations on realizing things will never change with them. It will actually give you some peace. Build your own family. That's what I did. Congratulations on the baby." User Hoosier Beaver said, "You don't even have to cut contact or block her, just quietly quit. Don't initiate contact, gray rock her when she calls or texts. Don't share photos of the baby under the guise of not wanting anyone to post photos on social media and to avoid having her bragging about what a lucky grandma she is while never having seen the baby in person. If anyone asks why you're shutting mom out, just act shocked and say, 'What? I'm just busy, taking care of a newborn with no help. She knows my number and my address. She's free to call, but I don't have the time or energy to listen to her complain about her life because, I have an infant to care for.' She'll eventually or immediately show just how much she really cares about having a relationship with you and your family." Update. A lot has happened since my last post. I tried to call my parents, but they blocked me and I couldn't reach them, but I was determined to get the closure that the younger version of me wanted. So I called my older brother and I asked him if we could meet up and talk about the situation. He told me that he won't meet up with me after what I've done to our mother, and he berated me, saying that I was an ungrateful person and that mom is in a lot of stress and pain because of me. I told him that it wasn't fair for him to just assume that I was the villain and that he couldn't even understand my point of view because they didn't treat him like they treated me my whole life. He knew that they treated me like their personal chef, maid, and therapist for years, but they couldn't even give me the love and attention that I wanted for once in my whole damn life. He basically screamed at me through the phone that I was a piece of trash for saying that, and that mom and dad treated us all equally, but I was just a damn narcissist who can't think about anyone but myself. I tried to talk, but my emotions got the better of him, and I started breaking down on the phone, and he hung up on me. I even started asking myself if I was really the narcissist that my family seemed to think of me, but my husband came to the rescue and helped me through all of this, but the doubt that maybe I was in the wrong still lingered in my head. I guess my brother told my parents that I called him because dad called about 2 days after that and asked me to meet up at their house. I was about to say no, but I couldn't because his voice was filled with remorse. So I thought that maybe, just maybe, we could get past the whole thing and I could drop the thought of cutting contact even if my mom doesn't want to help out. After like 3 days of talking to my dad, me and my husband went to their house to talk. I thought that it was going to be me, my husband, and my parents talking, but they invited my brother and his wife. As soon as we sat down, my dad started talking about how disappointed he was with me and that things shouldn't have led to this. I told him that he was right. Things shouldn't have escalated to be where they are now, but I assumed that since mom helped take care of my sister and my brother's wife, she would do the same, but she just favored everyone else above me, and it was frustrating. I told them about how I felt for the past years, and I told them everything that I said to you guys, but all of them acted like they didn't care, which honestly hurt like hell. I knew at that moment that I didn't mean anything to them, so why was I fighting to be a part of a family that didn't want me? My husband was going to speak, but I told him not to. Everyone gave their opinions about it, basically blaming me, and then Dad asked me if I wanted to say anything to Mom. I told her that I was sorry because I didn't want any type of bad blood between us before I close this chapter and move on with my life. But she didn't say anything back, and Dad said that we needed some time cooling off and setting some boundaries, and I guess that was it between us. In the next 2 weeks, we were packing and leaving the state. I didn't tell anyone about where my new house will be. Only once I got there and settled down did I write a long message about everything they did and how I felt. And at the end of the message, I told them that I was completely cutting contact with my parents and older brother. I changed my phone number and blocked all of my family from my social media. And you know what? My life has never been this peaceful in a long time. I am happy about everything, and my baby will arrive any day now. It is honestly stressing, but I love it so much. We hired a helper around the house because why not? Now my day consists of sleep, take a walk, eat some more, have back and hip pains, and repeat, which honestly isn't that bad. Thank you for reading. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.